What's up, everybody? I'm Mckenty. This is my second channel, and this is your home for my Twitch highlights and my podcast. So if you like this and you want to see more of that and you want to join the live streams, there's a link to that in the description of this video. And with that out of the way, let's get into it. Now, it is time for the main event of the evening, the Chad Music Compass. Last time we did the Incel Music Compass, and so now we're going to follow it up with the sequel. For anybody who's not familiar with what a Chad is, let me just explain that so you sort of understand where we're coming from. The best way to think about it is this meme here. On the one hand, here we have the virgin walk. Looks below parallel, avoids eye contact, back slouch, stiff, straight arms, compulsively needs to pass anyone walking slightly slower than him. Walking pace or form lacks fluidity because he struggles to auto walk, analogous to always manually breathing. Head craned forward, sometimes uses headphones to escape potential conversation to mitigate agoraphobic symptoms. And on the other hand, we have the Chad stride. Has figured out how to always look everyone in the eye once at all times. Does not register the emotions or feelings of others at all. Intentionally slaps and batters oncoming traffic to make his own path. Walking form is poised like a Greek statue, perpetually in contrapposto. Back is so straight you could measure structural foundation with his spinal cord. Arms constantly flailing in confident, unpredictable ways. Has never heard a song in his entire life. Just to sort of explain it here, the Virgin versus Chad, also known as the Virgin Walk, refers to a series of illustrations comparing various virgin men with low self-confidence to their Chad Thundercock counterparts. That's Chad's full name. And essentially, the idea is that, you know, the Chad is sort of a tongue-in-cheek term for, you know, someone who basically is so confident that they never consider the thoughts, feelings, or actions of anybody else because they're so confident, so self-absorbed, it would never occur to them for a moment to wonder what anybody else is doing because who cares? I'm such a Chad that I don't need to care what anybody else is doing. The essence of the joke here is, you know, obviously memes are for virgins, and so all of us see ourselves in the virgin here, right? I think it's safe to say that everybody, including me, who watches this probably identifies a little bit more with him. But the Chad is our sort of enemy that we secretly admire a bit, or at least I do. So I thought, you know, just kind of balance out last week's Incel Music Compass. This week, we do Music Compass for the polar opposite of the Incel, the sexually successful, popular, confident, effortlessly cool Chad. I've broken this one down into two axes here. This is describing the character more of the fans than the music, I think, although it's a little bit of both. On the y-axis here, we've got toxic versus healthy. So are the fans and the artist and the lyrical themes toxic, or are they healthy? And then on the other axis, we've got aggro versus chill. The first quadrant here, I think, is kind of the most obvious one. The aggro and toxic one, I think that's pretty straightforward. You guys can probably guess who we'd put up there. Five Finger Death Punch, right? Very aggressive, very toxic. You know, Zoltan, some of the other guys in the band seem pretty cool, but, you know, their lyrics and the vibe and stuff, I would say pretty toxic. Like the one where he's like, "Did you hear the one about me being a punk?" Look how Chad everything in this video is. Kind of like this song. Look how Chad this is. This is the life every Chad from Inland Empire, Arizona wishes that they had. Let's take the Lambo over to Ivan's and party with the girls from the Monster Energy commercial. All those Arizona strippers in the video. Chugging some brews. This is Chad shit, right? I don't want to live this way, but there was a time in my life where I did. This is the life every Chad wants, whether admit it or not. And even if you're not a Chad, there's a part of you that's like, you know what? It does look pretty fun, doesn't it? For that reason, I think any list of Chad music has to include Five Finger Death Punch. Very Chad. You know, if you go to one of their shows, there's going to be lots of cops in the crowd. There's going to be lots of military dudes in the crowd. Chad shit. It's a Chad lifestyle. They literally live in Las Vegas. Exactly. Vegas is clearly the Chad capital of the world. So, I mean, right there. They live in Chad Central. Now, that's a pretty obvious one. What might not be as obvious is the upper right-hand quadrant. That's the chill yet toxic quadrant. It might not make sense at first glance because how can you be both toxic and chill? But if you think about it, there's actually quite a bit of stuff in this category. One example of that to me is Drake. He's like fake chill, right? Pretends to be the ultimate nice guy, but then he's got all these like shitty lyrics about like, you used to be a nice girl, you look better without your makeup, all that kind of stuff. He's like nice guy core. His music is chill but toxic, and the fan base is very Chad. I know some of you guys are like, oh, Drake's not Chad. Drake is Chad as fuck. We don't even know what kind of a Chad life this guy lives because he's so good at hiding it. We know he's got a secret kid. God only knows what happens at Drake's parties. We never find out about it because he probably threatens to sue everyone into oblivion. And this is the kind of music, you know, same with like Travis Scott and stuff, that the sexually successful, charismatic, captain the football team, shithead white guy listens to. So that's why I would put him in the toxic yet chill category, which I know that might seem counterintuitive to some people, but Drake is very much Chad music. Yeah, not a great guy. I think Drake is probably a horrible person. He's just very good at keeping it under wraps. But I'm going to be clear. I'm not endorsing Drake. Let's move on to the next part of the chart. Aggro and healthy. This is also, you know, may seem like a counterintuitive category. And I would say there's not a ton of artists that fit in there, but there are some. For example, you guys know what's coming here. Hatebreed. You know, I made a video about this, and probably everyone who's watching this is familiar enough with Hatebreed that you understand this, but just in case you don't, clearly very aggressive. A lot of people think there's some sort of like asshole white power band or something like that. Couldn't be further from the truth. I'll just play this for a minute. For anybody who's confused, that's why I put Hatebreed in this quadrant. You know, there's a lot of people who are very mistaken that there's some sort of like idiot meathead white power band or something like that. It's not true at all. They're like Tony Robbins' core. If anything, you know, you could say that they're corny because they're so positive. I don't think that's corny, but some people do. So for that reason, I will put them in this corner. They're both very aggro, yet I would say, you know, very, very healthy. These are good, positive, upbeat lyrics at the end of the day. The last one is chill and healthy. To those of you who listen to the kind of music I cover on my channel, this will seem like a foreign concept. You're like, wait a minute, there's music that's chill and healthy? What? Why would anybody want to listen to that? This exists? I'm confused. That's where I would put what they call boyfriend country. Good example of that to me is Dan and Shay. The epitome of boyfriend country. A lot of you guys probably won't like this, but I'm a big fan of this because at this point in my life, this is where I'm at. I'm into this kind of stuff. Like their music videos of fucking wedding. This is even a little bit too much for me. He looked so pretty at our wedding that I was speechless. As G-rated as I am, I don't know if I can get with the wedding video. Here's one of my favorite songs. Another boyfriend country classic. I know we've got someone in the chat here that's going to tell us all about real country. But we're not here to talk about real country. We're here to talk about boyfriend country. They call it boyfriend country because this is the way that normal women, this is like how they wish that their boyfriend would act.
I don't know about you, but I never walk up and talk to.
Now, bro country is like party truck music. Boyfriend country is even more like G-rated than that.
I know your favorite beer, cause you told me, and I bought it.
Look at this guy. This motherfucker, he looks like the Giga Chad. That's him, right? He's the real life Giga Chad. Look how fucking jacked he is. You can tell even under this flannel how jacked he is.
What's your birthday? What's your wrist tattoo? Bible verse say.
Low testosterone vibes. You guys are projecting. This is not low testosterone. These guys fuck. This is not low testosterone music by any means. This is for like dudes that work at oil rigs and in the military and stuff. They definitely fuck. But anyway, that would be an example of something that fits down here in this quadrant of the music compass. So let's fill out the rest of this. I don't come to this stream for bro country. Then you came to the wrong fucking place, my friend. Because this is not the metal stream. This is not where I listen to fucking Korn and Slipknot all day because that's all my audience likes. Here on Twitch, we play by our own rules. We do what we want. We are not slaves to the algorithm here on Twitch. We get to have a little bit of fun. We get to listen to stuff that's not metal from 2002. We do what we want. And by what we want, I mean, we do what I want. Sometimes I like to listen to bro country. So who's next? Toby Keith. Yes, okay. Toby Keith is very Chad. For anybody who's not familiar with Toby Keith, I think it's better if I just play you some Toby Keith.
American girls and American guys. My daddy served in the army. We lost his right eye.
Stolen Valor Country. Yeah, that's my thing with this is like I'm 100% supportive of soldiers. I don't necessarily agree with everything that the military does on a policy level. But yeah, the chorus of this is, we'll put a boot in your ass, it's the American way. My issue with this is more like a musician cheering on these young men as they go off to fight a war. He's never going to pick up a gun and get into a firefight, and I'm sure a lot of them appreciate it, but it always just seems weird to me to be like the musician cheering these guys on. As far as I know, Toby Keith never served. That part always seemed weird to me. 500 Death Punch does this too. Toby Keith is certainly very Chad. I don't know if Toby Keith even has a logo. Yes, he does. Of course, his logo looks like this. He's pretty aggressive. I'd say it's pretty toxic. Supporting the troops is one thing. Encouraging them to go, it almost feels like propaganda when he does it, It's more like sort of whipping them up into a frenzy to go fight a war that he doesn't have to take part in. You know what I mean? That's the part that feels weird to me. So that's where I would put Toby Keith. Very Chad for sure, but I'm not sure it's in a good way. Jimmy Buffett, that's a good one. Do we all know who Jimmy Buffett is? I love Jimmy Buffett, and he's very Chad because Jimmy Buffett doesn't give a fuck. Cheeseburger in Paradise.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
This is what everyone says right before they have a toast at the happy hour bar at Applebee's.
I'd say, pour me something tall and strong.
Jimmy Buffett is like the soundtrack to late capitalism. Just about being a rich white person that doesn't give a fuck. I just retired. Now I want to go spend all my money traveling to resorts in second world countries where the natives wait on me hand and foot. And I like it. I mean, just look at that logo. The essence of being a Chad is being oblivious to other people because you can be. You don't have to care. Why would I care what you're going through? It's not my problem. And so from that perspective, he's old and his audience is old. But Jimmy Buffett is like what the high school football player, who was cool and sexually successful and popular, when he gets old and retires from the job that his uncle hooked him up with, where he worked like 30% of the time, but made enough to go buy a nice house in Ohio somewhere and go on vacation at a lake in Tennessee. Jimmy Buffett is what that guy listens to, like retired Chad. Jimmy Buffett is music for people who back into parking spots. Yes, exactly. People got upset at me when I made fun of this on Twitter the other day for the boomer men backing into parking spots. Like, why did they do this? Jimmy Buffett is definitely music for boomer men who back into parking spots. And I guess somebody replies from that about how they do that because, what if they need to make a quick exit? It's safer that way if you have to make a getaway. Like, what are you, fucking Billy the Kid, Jason Bourne, making a getaway in the parking lot of Chipotle? All right, I'm fine. If it takes me an extra 4 seconds to get out of the parking lot of Chipotle, I'm all right with that. I'll live. But apparently you are such an important man that 4 seconds for you in the parking lot of Chipotle, that can mean the difference between life or death. That's just something I guess I'll never understand because I'm not Jason Bourne. Where do we think MGK fits? MGK is definitely Chad music. There's no question about that. We see how seethingly angry he makes the beta music nerds. So we know anytime that they respond that strongly, we know that that's a sign we're working with a Chad. The question is, where does he fit? He seems like kind of an aggro guy to me. I would put him maybe around here, I think. He's an example of someone that may seem chill based on some of the ways that he presents himself. But I would say he's not the most thoughtful guy in the world. He said all this weird stuff about like black girls give the best head and all this like weird shit, which he did not ever take back. I mean, he said that stuff a long time ago, but when people asked him about it, all he needed to say about that stuff was like, look, I was 21. That was a really dumb thing to say. I apologize. That was stupid. That stuff moves him up the notch. His fan base, I would say, I don't think that a lot of them know or care about that. But still, I think we got to take it there. And he's also kind of an aggro guy. Like he slapped Adam 22 at Rolling Loud basically for like no good reason. Doesn't seem like a super nice person to me. It may seem like I've defended him in the past, and I feel like maybe I don't know, misspoke, but to clarify, I'm not a fan of MGK as a human. I don't even really love his music either. My position is that you shouldn't be mad that MGK is popular, right? Like the gatekeeping reaction to MGK is what I disapprove of. I'm not a fan of MGK as a person, just to be clear. Sublime, that's a good one. I can see them going a couple places here. I mean, they're definitely chill, but say their lyrics are actually pretty grimy. And a lot of people that are into them are like real... There's a lot of suboxone energy with Sublime and Sublime fans. You guys, how many people know what suboxone and methadone are? For your sake, I hope you don't. For anybody who doesn't, suboxone and methadone are medications that they give you to help you get off of opiates, because withdrawal from opiates like heroin or, or oxy or whatever is nasty. It makes you feel like shit. So they'll give you this stuff called methadone or suboxone that are supposed to help you get off of those things by kind of helping you wean off of that stuff. When I think of Sublime, I think of a guy in jorts waiting for the bus, either nodding out or angry because he's kind of dope sick and he can't score, maybe like picking at some scab that he got from some kind of unknown injury. I understand that's not all Sublime fans by any means, but that's to me the Sublime energy. There's a lot of methadone energy there. I would put them in the toxic but chill category. What do you guys think of as the epitome of like shitty Vegas big room EDM? I'll say Tiesto. I don't want to make fun of Avicii. Steve Aoki's cool. He's a good guy. Maybe Tiesto's a good guy too. I don't know. But when I think of just the most generic shit tier 2013 Vegas EDM full of Chad bros with a six-pack, who maybe don't even drink. Maybe they do like Molly because they don't want to have the empty calories from drinking. That's an interesting move. Or I think of the kind of Chad that listens to Tiesto. Here's who I think of. Let me know in the chat if you know who this guy is. The legend Z's. R.I.P. This is who I think of when I'm talking about this person, the sort of Chad that listens to Tiesto or is at a Tiesto show, because they don't care about the music. They don't care who's playing. They don't know or care. They just want to go there so they can show off how ripped they got from their last cycle and go like dance with some hot girls. That's the Z's lifestyle. And that's why I would put Tiesto up here in the toxic but chill category, because these guys are shitbags. These guys are shallow shitbags. There's no two ways about it. Tiesto seems like a perfectly fine guy. Nothing bad about Tiesto, and actually nothing bad about Z's either. He seems like kind of a douchebag, but not like a horrible guy. But I would say that like Vegas EDM festival scene is pretty gross. It's pretty toxic. Nickelback is kind of Chad. Yeah. There's a lot of nuance to this one. How many of you have ever read any of their lyrics? Because I hadn't either until I made a video about Nickelback. I had no idea how fucked up their lyrics are. The song is called SEX, created by DJ Rockers 12345.
No, it's a dirty word, never gonna say it first. No, it's just a thought that never crosses my mind. Baby, in the parking lot, better bring your friend along. Better rock together than just...
Better rock together. S is for the simple T. I don't think that's a word.
Is always the answer. It's never a question, 'cause the answer's yes. Oh, the answer's yes.
That's the majesty of Nickelback lyrics, which I've never really listened to Nickelback in detail, so I had no idea that their lyrics were that gross. So I would put them definitely on the toxic side of things. They're kind of heavy, but kind of not. I put them kind of right in the middle there, but definitely, you know what? It's hard to find a lot of room up here on the toxic side of things, but that's where I'd put them. What do we think about that? Oh yeah, Sugar Ray, that's a good one. Let's take a look at how goddamn good looking Mark McGrath is. This is a good looking motherfucker. I'm angry at how good looking Sugar Ray is. I love it when people call, the singer of a band by the name of the band. Like, oh, I met Soundgarden, or I met Aerosmith. I met Soundgarden. He was really cool. He was super nice. He gave me his autograph. Let's just see how gorgeous Mark McGrath is before we go on. That aesthetic, though, look at this. He looks like Benny from Fallout New Vegas. Horrifyingly bad music. This is one of the best videos of all time.
Gentlemen, make a hole! Move it! Sugar gay! Who's that sugar gay? I'll beat your fucking ass!
Somebody called him Sugar Gay.
Sugar gay!
He
Who's
is...
that sugar gay? I'll beat your fucking ass!
This guy's on so much coke right now.
Oh, I'll choke your fucking face. You say that? No, I didn't say anything. You ready to be smart? Did I say anything? Did you say something? No, I did not say anything. Choke your fucking head.
I'll choke your fucking head.
Hey, Mark, can I get your autograph?
No.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you can.
All right, cool.
You beat the fuck out of that guy right there.
Can I get your autograph? No. Yeah, you can if you beat the fuck out of that guy over there.
I'll choke your fucking face. You say that again. Did I say anything?
I'll choke your fucking face if you say that again. Notice how the Chad exerts his dominance when challenged. Exactly. This is like, when you see the David Attenborough wildlife documentary, when there's like two like buck deer fighting in mating season, and one of them just gets cucked The one with bigger antlers just throws the other with the smaller one to the ground, and he walks away humiliated. That's what just happened in this video.
You little bitch ass fucking shit. I'll fucking choke your fucking face. You know that? Are you done? Are you done? Yeah, you done. Pussy, are you? Standing right these guys, because I'll never make it in this business.
All right. Mark McGrath actually seems like a cool guy. He was probably out of his mind on coke in that video is my guess. I've heard interviews with him like at Adam Carolla and stuff. He seems very aware of who he is. He basically was like, look, I know I'm not a very talented guy, so I just took advantage of the opportunity I had and made as much money as we could while we could. And, you know, if anyone wants to book us at the county fair, we'll play it. So I actually think he seems like a pretty cool guy. Probably not the proudest moment of his life. But generally speaking, I would say other than that, quite chill. You know, the lyrics are pretty healthy. I would put them over here, you know? Finn watches and then puts them in chill healthy. Look, you know, have I ever had moments like that in the past? I have. Yes. I've been Mark McGrath like that in the past, but, you know, people change. That was probably 20 years ago. Yes, we got to put DaBaby on here. He seems like just a raging goddamn asshole. This is the one that's really bad. They're on the private plane here, and he's making fun of this fucking poor woman, this flight attendant who's serving him, making fun of her for not doing her hair enough or whatever.
We gonna pay all that for that flight. You gonna comb your head straight up. They nah, don't. We gonna pay all of it.
What a fucking dick.
The least you could do. Doug, talk about Shawty look like what you say she look like.
Like, this guy is just a fucking asshole. What is he doing? She did nothing to him. This is like such a horrible, like, dick thing to do. You know, obviously more recently he said his weird homophobic rant, which I'm only laughing about because it didn't even make sense what he said. You guys probably seen that. But point is, DaBaby, he is an asshole. He's also killed 2 people. A lot of people don't know that. Imagine getting smoked by him. Getting smoked by the guy who used to wear a diaper everywhere. What a way to go. I would actually put him up here with all these guys. I would say he is aggro and he is toxic. Nobody's going to care about DaBaby any fears. We'll see. I mean, he's pretty fucking big. We'll see. I think he's a good rapper, but I would love to see DaBaby fail. He seems like an actual asshole. Avenged Sevenfold. A lot of people feel like they're toxic in some way. I don't see it. I don't get what's toxic about them at all. Maybe a little bit douchey when they were younger, partied too much, but they're all family men. They're all married to their high school sweethearts, married with kids. They have been for a long time. As far as I'm aware, they've never done or said anything shitty to anyone. We had, I guess, happy hour with Johnny last year and his family. Super nice guy. Here's where I put him. On the aggro side, because I do play metal, but on the chill side of aggro, I would say relatively healthy. And, you know, I think Avenged Sevenfold fans are pretty cool. Yeah, Buck Cherry. How about that? It's the second time we've talked about Buck Cherry on this stream. Why did that need to happen? I feel like I've gone so wrong with my life that I've created a life for myself in which Buck Cherry is a frequent topic of conversation. How did this happen to me? I've got one for toxic and chill, and that's Travis Scott. Even though Travis himself seems like a decent guy who doesn't seem toxic really, he seems like an all right guy. But when I think of what is the soundtrack for every douchey, privileged Chad, like every white kid I see around here with like the basketball shorts and socks pulled up high with their rich MILF mom taking them shopping, you know, she's going to Lululemon and then they're gonna get a new Patagonia jacket or something like that. Travis Scott is the soundtrack for that kid. That kid is Chad. Even if he goes by Cody or Braxton or Keegan or Dakota, the kid is still Chad, and he listens to Travis Scott. So for that reason, I would put Travis Scott in the toxic and chill quadrant. Travis Scott is for Jewel fans. Yes, exactly. Maybe we'll just leave it here for now. Maybe it's just Hatebreed and Avenged Sevenfold holding it down, you know? Aggro healthy is probably like Skillet, those Christian bands like Skillet or Flyleaf. Yeah, you know what? You're right. We do have room for one more here. Let's put Skillet in there. As far as that sort of thing goes, they're aggressive, right? And I actually don't know their lyrics, so I could be wrong. I'm just going to assume that because they're a Christian band, I'm going to assume that their lyrics and themes are healthy. Maybe they have some song about conversion therapy or something. If they do, I don't endorse that. I'm just going to assume that it's relatively G-rated. Friendly youth group stuff. That's certainly who their fan base is. Based on that, we'll put them over here. But again, if it turns out that they endorse conversion therapy or, you know, that they gave a bunch of money to the Westboro Baptist Church or something, I'm obviously not on board with that. But based on what I know about them, we'll put them down here on the bottom left just to round it out a bit. So that does it for our Chad Music Compass. Hopefully you enjoyed that one. It's a little bit harder than the Incel Music Compass, isn't it? Because the fact of the matter is that there's a lot more Incel music out there than there is Chad music, because musicians, generally speaking, are not Chads. And for the most part, Chads don't really care that much about music. They just listen to whatever's on the radio or Rap Caviar or whatever. They don't care that much. So it's kind of difficult to think about Chad music, but I think we did a pretty good job of it today. So thank you for your help to everybody who contributed to this. Much appreciated. And I look forward to doing more of these music compasses because I think they're pretty fun.